Welcome back, mathematicians. In this video, we are going to divide two complex numbers. In our example here, we have a complex number that has both a real and imaginary part divided by another complex number that has, again, a real and imaginary part. When we divide by a complex number that has both the real and imaginary part, what we need to do is multiply by the conjugate of that denominator. So the conjugate of 4 minus I will be positive 4, so the real part remains the same, plus I, so the imaginary part is its opposite. Now, anytime we multiply something to the denominator, we must also multiply that same exact expression to the numerator. Now what we're going to do is apply the distributive property to both the numerator and denominator. So let's start with the numerator. 3 times 4 is equal to 12. Then we have 3 times I, which is plus 3I. Then we have 2I times 4, which is plus 8I. And then finally 2I times I, which is plus 2I squared. Let's repeat this for the denominator. So we have 4 times 4, which is 16. Then 4 times 1I, which is plus 4I. Then negative 1I times 4, which is minus 4I. And then negative I times positive I, which is minus I squared. Let's continue by simplifying the numerator and denominator. And the first thing we'll do is combine the imaginary parts for both the numerator and denominator. So we have 12 plus 11I plus 2, and at the same time, we can recognize that since I is equal to the square root of negative 1, that I squared is equal to the value of negative 1. So we should replace I squared with that value of negative 1 and continue to simplify. Our denominator will be 16, and you see here the 4I and the negative 4I cancel each other out. So we have minus I squared, but again, we're going to take out the I squared and replace it with the value of negative 1. We are now going to continue to simplify. So we have 12 plus 11I. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And then 16, and then we have a double negative becoming plus 1. Continuing to simplify, we have 12 minus 2, which is equal to 10, plus 11I over positive 17. Now the last thing we should do is actually break this fraction up into two separate terms, so we have a defined real part and imaginary part. To do this, we're just going to separate the denominator, so it'll be 10 over 17 for our real part, plus 11 over 17I for our imaginary part. And that is the quotient of these two complex numbers. All right, guys, good luck.